Tired of watching anime main characters screaming on the top of their lungs about how they will kill every last bad guy and save the world? Well, I definitely am. So today I have the top 10 list where the main character just wants a quiet, peaceful life. These are the trash heads who just want to relax, grow some veggies, and sip on some tea. And not gonna lie, that kinda sounds great. So without further delay, let's begin. To start out the list here, we have Kemono Michi, Rise Up. A show about a wrestler who loves animals. Yep, you heard that right, but the dude is suddenly summoned to a fantasy world, and if you haven't guessed it yet, unlike most summon heroes who accept the role of vanquishing monsters, this main character has a different dream: to live peacefully among creatures of all kinds. He soon sets out to open up a pet shop where he can care for and befriend every animal from domesticated pets to mythical beasts. While he seeks a calm life, the main character's quest is anything but. His over-the-top love for animals leads to misunderstandings with the locals, frequent comedic mishaps, and constant challenges as he tries to domesticate creatures that others fear. His confrontations with warriors and royals, as well as his attempts to shield animals from harm, add a layer of absurdity that makes the anime endearingly humorous. So if you want to watch something this weekend, this just might be the one for you. Then at number 9, we have Chillin' in Another World with Level 2 Super Cheat Powers. This anime takes a laid-back approach to the Isekai genre by following the protagonist who is summoned to a new world with seemingly minimal powers. However, due to an error, he ends up possessing exceptional abilities. But unlike most Isekai protagonists who set off on an epic adventure, the main character's focus remains on enjoying a carefree life, exploring his surroundings, and making friends rather than defeating enemies. His journey reflects a wish fulfillment fantasy that centers on relaxing, indulging in simple pleasures, and utilizing his powers only when necessary. This anime appeals to people who are drawn to low-stake narratives in fantasy settings, celebrating a protagonist who values a quiet life even when fate offers him the means to seek power and fame. So if you are looking for a more action-packed adventure, I'd say this probably ain't for you. But if you want to see a relaxing slice-of-life anime, this one you should give a try. Next up at number 8, we have Goodbye Dragon Life. Looks like the writers had enough of reincarnating humans and so decided to make dragons their next victim. The protagonist, a former dragon who once wreaked havoc across lands, is reincarnated as a human. And having once led a life filled with destruction and war, the main character now yearns for a quieter existence as a human in a peaceful village. He enjoys the regular pleasures of human life and finds a new sense of satisfaction in simplicity, far removed from his past life of violence and power. However, despite his desire for peace, Dren's past as a powerful dragon cannot easily be left behind, as various magical threats and figures from his old life emerge. The main character is often drawn into conflict despite his best efforts to live quietly. These thoughts force him to square up his powerful abilities with his current values, balancing his yearning for a peaceful existence with the occasional need to protect those around him. The story of this anime offers a thoughtful look at transformation and redemption, resonating with folks who appreciate stories of second chances and the quest for harmony in a violent world. So if you finally want to move on from that adult stuff and watch something actually refreshing for once, this one just might be the one for you. And after that at number 7, we've got Banished from the Hero's Party. I decided to live a quiet life in the countryside. A refreshing take on the fantasy genre, where we follow an ex-adventurer who leaves his role in the hero's party after being cast out by his comrades. The anime centers around the main character's quest for a peaceful existence far from the epic battles he once faced, as he sets up an apothecary shop in a quiet village. Red's longing for simplicity is palpable as he immerses himself in his new, humble life, savoring the joy of crafting potions and helping villagers with minor ailments. However, his dream quickly vanishes just like your hope of getting a real-life waifu, cause his life is disrupted by the unexpected arrival of an old friend who quickly becomes his partner in both businesses and life. The relationship is heartwarming and offers a stark contrast to the main character's flamboyant past. This slice-of-life romance forms the emotional core of the series, showing Red's journey from a battlefield to a peaceful, albeit occasionally tumultuous, coexistence with Reet. Yet the past keeps knocking and Red's serene life is punctuated by moments of tension, as old allies and enemies emerge, reminding him that escaping his hero's role isn't as simple as he thought. So looking for an anime that's quite fun to watch? This is the one for you. Next up at number 6, we have By the Grace of the Gods. Probably the most relatable you'll see this year, because here we have a former Japanese businessman plagued by a harsh life of overwork who is granted a second chance at life by 3 generous gods. Reincarnated as a young boy in a peaceful magical realm, the dude can finally pursue a quiet, stress-free existence. And this anime shows just that. The main character's journey to create a tranquil and fulfilling life centered around caring for various types of slimes, which become his beloved companions. And this guy is basically a sunflower compared to the typical Isekai main characters because he finds joy in small, wholesome activities like tending to his slimes, opening a laundry business, or helping the local community. His adventures are grounded in personal fulfillment rather than grand heroics, creating a relaxed viewing experience that immerses the audience in a world where, for once, kindness and simplicity are actually valued. However, the slow pacing and occasional lack of depth in the supporting characters might make the story feel uneventful to some viewers. Yet for some guys, just wanting to relax in a heartwarming tale told by the main character's gentle approach to life might just put a smile on your face. Then at number 5, we've got The Great Cleric. The story of an office worker reborn in a fantasy world after his death. And if you haven't guessed what his wish is, then I guess your brain is pretty rotten, huh? So with hopes for a peaceful life, he becomes a healer, a path he believes will keep him far from danger. However, the main character quickly finds that even the quiet life of a healer isn't as peaceful as he thought. His work in the Adventurers Guild exposes him to political tensions and sometimes straight-up danger, while his healing prowess attracts the attention of powerful figures and colleagues alike. So at the end of the day, he is forced to define his values and protect those around him. His character development is both physical and moral, as he balances his healing practice with the realities of his position in a chaotic guild. His journey is enriched by the bonds he forms with others who come to admire his spirit and honor. This anime is probably best for folks who enjoy slower-paced stories that focus on personal growth, resilience, and the subtle victories of a peaceful existence interrupted by occasional adventure. So if you're one of those types, give this show a try. Then at number 4, we have Combatants Will Be Dispatched. So here the protagonist just wants anything like peace or harmony. Rather, he's just too lazy to fight. And the story follows the story of Combat Agent 6, who is sent by an evil organization to conquer new worlds, but quickly derails into comedic mishaps rather than fearsome domination. In this fantasy comedy isekai, the main character's laziness and self-centeredness leads to repeated attempts to secure personal comfort over mission success. The series' charm lies in its disrespectful humor and the frequent parodies of fantasy tropes. Instead of gaining admiration, the main character's incompetence leads to strained relationships with the locals, especially with his partner, a high-tech android, and other quirky adventures. Every attempt to exploit the new world backfires, making for an episodic journey filled with absurdity and irony. The story keeps viewers entertained with its unique blend of comedy, fantasy, and occasional action, reminding audiences that sometimes the best stories come from protagonists who just don't take their roles seriously. This anime looks for an alternative to intense fantasy narratives, offering a light-hearted escape through its protagonist's chaotic and often misguided attempts at conquest. So watch this if you want to have a great time. And after that, in the 3rd place spot, we have Farming Life in Another World. For all those trashes out there, this ain't about repopulating the isekai world, so get your head out of that gutter. This show follows a man whose life is filled with hardships and illness until he's given a second chance by a god. With his new life in a fantastical world, the dude opts for a peaceful existence centered on farming. He uses his divine-given abilities to cultivate a diverse array of crops, building his own little sanctuary where he finally finds contentment. Hiriku's life is rich with the rewards of hard work and self-sufficiency, reflecting a sense of fulfillment that he never experienced in his previous life. But as if it was that simple, cause the farm attracts useless creeps and magical beasts that are not exactly the best thing that you want for your farm. So though his quiet life is tested, the main character's unwavering dedication to farming allows him to find a joy in even the busiest of days, managing his unlikely relationships with these fantastical visitors. So if you are looking for a gentle and grounded story, this one is for you. Next up at the silver spot, we have Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill. Now, let's say this anime brings a delicious flavor to the isekai genre. That was pretty bad, wasn't it? Anyways, focusing on a guy who gains a rather unorthodox skill, online grocery, quote-unquote, transported to a fantasy realm where everyone expects him to be a powerful hero, but this guy surprises his companions by choosing a path centered around cooking. Are you sure he is in the right anime? I mean, there's a literal anime named Food Wars, but whatever. So his shopping skill allows him to access ingredients from modern Japan, and rather than gearing up for battle, he spends his days crafting delicious meals. The story revolves around the main character's culinary adventures, where he forms bonds with mystical creatures, including the powerful and loyal Fenrir. This anime's charm lies in its blending of cooking and fantasy, offering an enjoyable reprieve from traditional heroic tales. Bukoda's story celebrates the beauty of simple pleasures, like sharing meals with friends, and gives fans a gentle, comforting experience in the midst of the typical action-driven plots. This is definitely a show you guys shouldn't sleep on. And by the way, the animation is actually really good. I mean, it was done by MAPPA, what do you expect? But at the top spot of today's list, we've got Ascendance of a Bookworm, an isekai that takes a turn from the cliched stuff. The story focuses on a book-loving girl reborn in a medieval society with little access to reading material. So her passion for books is almost unachievable due to her poor background and frail health. The story centers on a relentless drive to recreate books, from using limited resources to craft paper, ink, and eventually books providing a unique look into the power of knowledge. The main character's journey embodies a quite significant contrast to typical isekai heroes who gain immense powers, but she remains bound by her physical limitations and societal constraints. Yet her dreams drive her forward, showing the strength found in intellectual pursuit over physical might. This anime also shines in its treatment of social issues, as the main character confronts class divides, exploitation, and the control of knowledge by the nobility, making each of her small triumphs feel significant. The slow pacing and emphasis on daily struggles might make it a little bit boring for you, but for those who enjoy character-driven tales that celebrate intellectual curiosity, Ascendance of a Bookworm offers a refreshing, heartwarming experience. So, be sure to give this one a try. Well, that's the list for today, guys. If you were able to make it this far, please be sure to comment down below on which anime you think should have been on this list. And also, if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and press on that bell icon and set us all to be notified about all our latest new videos. And as for now, I'll catch you later. See you in the next one.